An official welcome to the 8th round of Essential Psychic Skills. These are the tools that you need in order to move through your growth process in a very grounded, increasingly more elegant and graceful, increasingly more knowledge based understanding of what you're going through so that you don't feel crazy in your spiritual growth process and in the life growth process. I say spiritual growth, but it's like it's all growth in your physical growth, in your mental growth, in your emotional growth, in your spiritual growth, in your sexual growth, in your whatever. Put a word before it that is a topic in your life and put growth at the other side of it. And there you have a topic that you can apply psychic tools and psychic skills to. So tonight we're going to go over the basics of why we're doing this, and we're going to go over the basics of your energetic anatomy, which is going to mirror some of the information in your orientation. If you haven't gotten a chance to go to your student portal and do your orientation, that's totally fine. Go ahead and do it when we're done. In 2 weeks, you're going to get released out your next portal, your next module, which is the grounding module. So this is orientation. Settle in. We're going to start every class by sort of gathering ourselves a little bit before I launch into the lesson. So go ahead and close your eyes and let's start doing some work. Wherever you are, whatever you're doing, would you allow your eyes to close, and would you allow your energy and your attention to float back out of the computer screen, out of the day that you were having, and back into your body? So the way to get super present with your body is to just feel. Feel your physical form. What do you notice? When you tune in? What info does your body have to share with you? Take some deep breath. Allow your awareness to sink deeply into your body. So, in the time that I've been quiet, would you notice where your mind has wandered? And wherever it's wandered, that's really great information. Would you say hello to that space, wherever it went to? And would you begin to draw your energy back from that space, not because it's not worthy of your time or your attention, but because for the next hour and some odd minutes, you can just focus on you. And if you do that, if you focus on you, and then you go back to those topics, you'll notice that something has shifted in a positive direction because you focused on you, which is where everything's coming from anyway. Would you let your body know that you're going to be opening your eyes and coming back into the class space? Would you give it a lot of love for being here, for getting you to this space to do this work on September 11th, 2018? Taking another big deep breath in, allowing yourself to just stretch, let your eyes flutter open, come back into the space around you, and let's talk about chakras and auras and psychic tools. So we go over 4 main tools in this class. The first one is your grounding and your ability to feel safe and grounded in the body. Now there's 1 metric ton of information that I have to give you guys about just that 1 tool, because that 1 tool will do about 1 million things for you. So we've got that module. That's our first one, grounding. The second one is cosmic energy. That's you getting in tune with the flow of the universe, really getting comfortable as a spirit in the body and being able to move quicker within synchronicity and manifestation and getting your information and being connected to the all that is. So once we've got you grounded and comfortable as a human, we're going to move into getting you grounded and comfortable as a spirit in physical form. Then on the third module, the third tool, we're going to be learning clairvoyance, basically, the ability to see energy instead of feeling energy. This whole class is kind of a tuning down of your empathic and clairsentient qualities, which are rampant among people who are indigos and people who have a millennial type nervous system. They feel everything. And oftentimes it's really helpful to just tune that down a little bit and learn how to see energy and move energy on a psychic level so that you don't have to be so physically focused, actually. You don't have to be so just fighting it out on the earth plane or in the emotional realms. You can raise your energy up into your upper chakras and let those start to work for you. So the first 4 weeks of this class are really just clearing out your lower chakras and then your upper chakras. And then the last week of class is you pretty much clearing out that 4th layer and resetting the tone on your life. So it's strengthening the ability to use your clairvoyance for the betterment of you and to heal your mind and to heal your life. And then using it specifically to reset the tone on some things. So while I will talk about 1 million sort of more woo-woo mystical things, I need you to know the practicality of this work. Woo aside, this work, what it actually does is get your conscious mind to talk to your subconscious mind and your subconscious mind to talk to your conscious mind. We're going to be using visualizations in the form of meditation, allowing you to start to release and let go of energies. On the spiritual side, that's always happening. Your ability to ground and understand cosmic energy and understand how to create and destroy in your life and understand how to reset the tone on something, all of those are innate skills that you are already doing. And as we go through these tools, I want you to think about how you're already doing them, because you are. There's always a way that your body likes to ground. Oftentimes when you don't know how to ground and you're feeling very ungrounded because this entire culture is very ungrounded and this moment in time is also super ungrounded. Let me take a little dive into a different direction with that. The reason why it's super ungrounded is because literally every structure and form, everything that's real and physical is starting to change. We're seeing all of the lies underneath all of the structures and the forms, the power over models, the oppressive stuff, capitalism, hierarchy, all that bullshit. We're starting to see that stuff really clearly. And on a spirit level, all of us are like, fuck yes, by racism, by white supremacy, by sexism, by cagey, weird, energetic programs. Of course, our spirits recognize that. That's never the problem. The problem is our bodies. Our bodies have been hooked into capitalism. They've been hooked into white supremacy. They've been hooked into all of those labels that are being thrown around now. Those have all been porn culture, rape culture, pedophilia culture. That stuff is real to our bodies because this is the memory of everything that's ever happened on this planet. This is the apex of evolution. Respect it as such and take care of it by moving the energy of programming and culture out of the way and giving it a new space to ground. So all of those things are starting to leave the planet. The more that we illuminate them and the more that we come up with new solutions to these old sort of paradigms, the more that those things crack and fall away. Now, people like you and I can really feel that, right? You can really feel how all this stuff is up and that there's a huge percentage of the population that does not understand that we're going through a massive awakening. And you do. Once you understand that we are going through an awakening, these tools are the first thing you really need because they help you get through it really well without losing your mind. So let's work on some energy stuff. Go ahead and close your eyes again. Would you notice your body's response to culture and how culture is changing? How does it feel for your body that everything that's ever been real for humanity is shifting? What do you notice? Whatever you got from your body, would you say thank you? And then would you allow your body to release energy down through the layers of the earth? And just see how that feels today. You guys all know how to ground. Give your body permission to release. And as you do, we're going to walk step by step through your energy field. I suggest you stay in meditation for some of this, but just as a rule, I want you guys to do whatever you have to do to keep your bodies comfy. So if you have to pop out of meditation, if you want to primal scream into a pillow, if you want to do yoga and stretching as you're imagining these things, it's all totally fine by me. I just want you to be able to be focused as we're doing this. So take a big deep breath into your belly. And would you say hello to your first chakra there at the base of your spine, cone-shaped energy center facing down? And would you notice the color of the energy in that space as I tell you the reason why we're engaging with this? The first chakra has to do with safety, security, and well-being. It's the base level of everything in your life. Everything that governs having a human body and just getting around in the world. House, home, food, water, shelter, health insurance. All of that stuff is right there at the base of your spine. So if you change the energetic tone in here, you're resetting the tone to something that is more aligned with you and less aligned with the one thing that really runs this space in humanity, and that is abandonment and fear. If you do this psychic work, you're going to start to move out deep levels of abandonment and fear in your first chakra. And the trust that comes from that alone is so worth the price of admission. So, would you be a clairvoyant? Would you be a psychic? And would you change the energy in your first chakra to something that's super fun, really exciting, and very grounding? Mine's a blue today. I want you to trust whatever color pops in. If there's a bunch of doubt in your space, just let it go down your grounding. And let this color spin through your first chakra. Let it create a grounding between your first chakra and the very core of the earth. Really root in. Take up space. And then would you move into your second chakra, right below your belly button. If you take 2 or 3 fingers and place them below your belly button, you will find your second chakra. So would you actually use your fingers and push into your lower belly and find your second chakra? Notice the color, notice the energy in that space. The second chakra is the space of sexuality, sensuality, and desire. So when you change the tone in this space, you reset yourself around your sexuality, sensuality, emotions, and desire. This is particularly helpful if you tend to run other people's emotions or the Tri-County area's emotions through your second chakra. Just give yourself a break and reset the tone back to you so you can feel you. And take a breather from feeling everybody else. All right. Remember that you have a grounding cord below you, and you can release down in through the layers of the earth, all the way to the core. I will purposefully talk in ridiculous voices and say funny things because I want you to laugh. Because when you're doing this work, shit can get really serious. You can hit some of your stuff. You're going to hit some of your stuff. It's like, that's what we're doing here. It's a big, huge walkthrough of the shadow world. But the more you can laugh and the more neutrality you can froth up, the easier this is going to be. So second chakras are a good place to find some giggles. Find them. And then let's move on to your solar plexus, aka your third chakra. I like to really put my hands into this one too. This one's always pretty tight on me. It's a really controlled one in humanity because our culture is so centered around work, and the third chakra can get really wrapped up in the workspace and be running the energy of work through that space instead of your own energy. It's really easy to do this. So, whatever your job title is and whatever your work is, even if you're at it right now, would you reset the tone back to you? Choose a color that is vital and free, and would you run it through that solar plexus chakra? And let's talk about what the third is. It's a lot of good shit that you're going to want to use for you and not your work. Self-esteem, self-confidence, self-worth, which is kind of more of a fourth chakra thing, but it also starts in the third. It's willpower. It's your physical vitality. It's your metabolism, the way you metabolize energies. It's the way that you run masculine, feminine energies. So when you walk into a room full of dudes and you don't want to be seen as a woman, you fire up that masculine energy. That's happening at the third. When you go into a room full of ladies and you're ready to have epic lady time, then you fire up your feminine energy, and then that's all happening in your third. So allowing yourself to re-engage with your physical power and the way you metabolize energy and the way that you present yourself in the world is huge. It will change everything. So splash around a little bit longer. Enjoy the shifts going on in the third chakra. And moving on to the fourth, right there in the center of your chest, that is your identity. It's your ego. The ego, the dreaded ego. I want you to watch your bonus class on the ego once you guys get your first module. If you have confusion around the ego. Your ego is fabulous. It shows you everywhere the healing needs to happen. So whatever part of your personality is flared up right now, whatever part of your ego is just driving you crazy, would you say hello to that aspect of you and just tell it that you are going to be so present for the next 8 weeks around whatever it needs. When people talk about doing shadow work, this is primarily what they're talking about. The heart of the matter. Notice the color in that space. Notice the energy in that space. Whatever the tone is, will you set a tone that really feels like you? Choose a color that feels like you today. And let it spin and move through your whole chest area, including your fourth chakra. Doing psychic work, I want to tell you, is like having a controlled psychotic break. Now's the time in the fourth layer here, the fourth chakra, that I'm going to let you in on a secret. This is a controlled psychotic break, meaning you will shatter the concept of yourself over and over and over and over again until you are more fully liberated. And that is the process. It's right here in the center of your chest. That concept of who you are, it needs to be broken down. It needs to be expanded in order for you to have the kind of experiences you want to have. But there's a very delicate process to that. Most people are just like, I don't want to be this person anymore. I don't want to be lazy anymore. I'm just going to move beyond it. That doesn't work because there's things that you're getting from being lazy. And you've identified this one particular way for so long. Lazy is just an example because I got called lazy all the time growing up. I'm just dreamy. So allowing yourself to transform in this space, knowing that you will transform in this space, would you fortify your heart? Really bring in that energy that feels like you and let it soak into that fourth chakra. And then we're going to move up into the fifth, right there in your throat. How does your throat feel today? This is another one that's really intense for me because I'm a teacher and a communicator. And you might be teaching and communicating a lot in your life too. Notice the energy in this space. This one is also really easy, just like her sister chakra in the third. This one's really easy to have other people's energies running through it, to get really owned in this space or shut down. If you've been shut down or silenced, would you take a color that is a big, huge fuck you to shut down? Lime green. Whatever it is. And would you run it through that space and really reclaim your communication for you? Yours might not be as fiery as mine is, but yours is however it needs to be. I just want it to get free. So run this new energy through that the fifth chakra throat space. The fifth is about communication with self and others. So if you've got really gnarly self-talk going on, resetting the tone is muy bueno. All right, 2 more. You guys are doing great. Allowing yourself to focus in to the center of your head where your sixth chakra lives. Get a beat on the tone in there. What's the energy in that space? Whatever it is, whatever you're feeling, would you let it be correct? That's the energy. Okay. Sixth chakra is the seat of your clairvoyance. It's your ability to vision. It's your ability to have perspective, that larger perspective, instead of getting so blindfolded or putting the blinders on. You see all perspectives. You're able to shift energy easier. It's your clarity. It's your vision for your life. You definitely want to be the one in charge in this space and not have things like Instagram setting the tone for the vision of your life, or Pinterest. Do you ever have those times where you're scrolling through Instagram and you're just like, oh man, I wish I was like her. I wish I was doing what she was doing. Well, that tells you that you have a matching vision. But the only way to get there is to align to your vision. So if there have been places where you've been using other people's picture about what life should be like, would you call your energy back now and be present with what's happening here and now and your own vision for your life? Oh, you guys are doing so good. One more. Right at the top of your head, the sister chakra to the seventh is the first, the sister chakra to the seventh at the top of your head is your first right at the bottom. So your first is about grounding. It's about earthly based things. One guess as to what the seventh is about: spirit, knowledge, wisdom, information, knowingness. What's the energy in that space? And would you not fight it? Just notice what it is. Don't fight it. Especially for my psychics who have been in trainings before with other schools, you've learned how to fight yourself. That's not super helpful. We are going to be spending the next 8 weeks ending the fight. And would you do that now by picking a color that is fabulously, irreverently spiritual and run it through that space at the top of your head? Okay. Now you have reset the tone entirely on the energy in your space. And we're going to go a little bit deeper into the knowledge of what this means, but you guys did the work for today. Well done. Go ahead and take a big, deep breath. Let your bodies know you'll be coming out of meditation and come all the way out. So your chakras carry the information of what's real to you, what's become manifest in your physical reality. They're your real belief systems about stuff. So if you reset the tone in that space, think of how beneficial that is. You reset the tone of all those pictures in that space. Now, when you're working psychically, you're moving really fast. So you're going to want to know for the next 8 weeks, I'll probably not be able to say this enough to you because culture has indoctrinated you into this idea that you somehow should be other than you are. That's like the number one poison that we all take, is that something should be other than what it is. And there's a little bit of an invitation to go into that because we are changing the energy so much. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. I'll go into that more later in a different class. But whatever is presenting itself right now for you is exactly what needs to be happening. It's exactly what you should be getting present with, and there's no other work to do except for what is in front of you. So when you start unlocking your chakras, it's going to feel really good because you're finally resetting the tone, but there will be a little of a detox symptom over the next 8 weeks / a while longer, which is why this class just runs and runs and runs, and you can come back to it all the time because it really helps out in the detox process of all this crap. If you've never consciously put your energy and attention into your chakras, they are a universe worth of information. There's 12 concentric rings that all govern different aspects of that one thing. And then that one thing is like an entire universe to itself. So as you're going through and you're simply changing a first chakra from black to red or from red to hot pink, that's quick, fast movement. And I'm going to teach you and get your body used to moving really fast. But in the beginning, your body can be like, oh my God, because this is denser than spirit. So when you're really pulling out of any sort of belief systems or anything that's in that chakra center, as you're changing colors, it's really common to have body symptoms. You might have panic attacks. You might have weird symptoms. You might have detox or flu symptoms. You might get ripping sick. This is the time that on a practical level, people are getting sick, but on an energetic level, there might just need to be a clearing going on. I want to make a pact with you right now, between me and you and your body and my body, that we're going to trust this process implicitly. You will know if you have to go to the hospital for some weird thing, but I'm more willing to bet over the next 8 weeks that whatever comes up isn't a doctoring thing as much as it is an energy thing. Always see your doctor if you need to. I'm a big fan of that. I love seeing my doctor. But bodies feel weird sometimes as they're going through this process, and I don't want you to be freaked out by that. I mean, get freaked out by it. It's weird, but it's part of the healing process. So imagine that. Imagine like all that information, all that different programming and different things that can be stuck in a chakra, and you're like all at one time. You're going to want to drink a lot of water. You're going to want to eat really healthy. You're going to want to move your body. You're going to want a solid amount of sleep. So bodies really need that like 3 square meals, knowing where the meals are coming from, lots of water, yada, 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 all the healthy stuff you know you should do. Really, 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 really commit to that. Not because you want your body to look differently or because you want to be some fitness model, but because it's really important to take care of your physical form as you're doing psychic work and vice versa. It's really important to do psychic work for taking care of your physical form. But to catch the body up, you really want to give bodies what they need. And they need some care and some love and some food and some water. And they need to poop and they need to pee and they need all that to be healthy. So commit with me right now that a whole new level of health for no other reason other than you're in psychic school and your body's got to catch up to the energy. We're going to commit to that. Okay, so those are your chakras. I want to pass it over to you guys and see if anybody has any questions or thoughts. I'm sure I've got you spinning if I know my teaching like I think I do. I'm going to unmute everybody, so talk as needed. How was that? Is it all making sense? Yes? No?
Hi.
Hi.
For the colors of the different chakras, how do we know like if they need to be shifted or changed?
It's just fun to do it. You know? Like even if you get in there and you're like, oh, it's a teal, make it a sparkly teal.
Okay.
Just spiff it up a little bit. Put your awareness and your attention into that space and your intention into that space. Yeah. Perfect.
That was really cool. I was looking at my first chakra, and first thing I saw was yellow, which is it's like my antithesis color. It's like the color that's like the opposite of my power, basically. So when I saw that, I was like, oh, it's yellow, you know. And then like as you were talking, like before you even said it, I saw like green coming into the scene, and it just went green, and it's not like the yellow just because I was thinking to myself, like, where did the yellow go? Like, is it still there? You know, but it was sort of just like the picture just got replaced. Like it was just a replacement, you know, of this nice pine, kind of a pine green color.
Gorgeous.
And that felt really good.
Good. Just your attention will do that.
Yeah, yeah.
It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So all that chakra info making sense? Are you getting the immensity of this silly thing that we're doing, imagining new colors and how much it will change your life if you do it? Okay.
Yeah, I don't do it enough.
We don't, and that's why we have this space. That's why I teach in this space, because I'm like, okay, a half hour before class, guess whose ass is in a seat doing all of this work? Me. And I need that. I need to teach this class in order to keep moving forward with my own practice, because, 25 years of not knowing how to do this beats out 10 years of doing it still.
Yeah.
So remember that. It's equal and opposite. Once we've all done it for the amount of time that we didn't do it for, then it'll be like second nature. And by the way, by that point, you'll be a wizard and you won't be trapped by any of this stuff. You'll just be like, oh, what's the 25th dimensional frequency? What's in there?
Wow.
Yeah. And then you'll be like, okay, I'll pay my taxes now. Like the slip between physical to non-physical will be a lot easier if you do this work. You can be more multidimensionally focused, meaning you can be receiving information from all of your chakras and your aura and people and your spirit and higher self and all your guides and animals and friends, and you can be a normal person at the same time too. It's kind of crazy. The spiritual growth process, when you first start doing it, when you first have your awakening or one of the dark nights that happen, it kind of just levels you in a way that needs to happen, but also doesn't need to be as stuck as it gets. We don't need to be stuck. It's going to take me saying that over and over again for you to give yourself permission to do these tools and do this work before you go into fixing and solving something with your mind or your feelings or your energy. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm going to mute everybody again because I'm going to start really talking at you. Let me see if there's anything more I got to say about that. Yeah, it's actually funny. There's a beautiful being that I'm dating, and they were just messaging me about class, and I said, yeah, get in class. It's so easy. And they said, well, I don't know if I can do the class that you're doing tonight or participate in that way, but those other sessions that you have, I have $12 classes that I do every other 2 Thursdays a month, which you guys are more than welcome to come to as well for extra practice. They're $12. They could not be easier. They're like 45 minutes and donezo. And he wrote back this whole thing about why it's impossible for him because of money and time. He has Thursday night off. He asked me on a date. And he has $12. But look at the energy that gets lit up between somebody actually fucking doing their work and making a million excuses to do it. This is going to be you because this is totally me too. We have to really look at the stuff we put in the way of actually doing our work on ourselves and actually greeting ourselves in present time. Be aware that that is going to pop up. You're going to be like, I don't care about this class. It doesn't matter. And that doesn't hurt me at all. That just doesn't do what you want it to do. So knowing that you're going to hit some of that energy in your chakras as you do this work and in your aura as you do this work is legit. You've got to know it's going to happen. You've got to sit with that part of you that's like, I don't wanna, and do it anyway. So let's talk about the next aspect of doing it. So you've got your chakras, all 7 of them, and then they make up the layers of your aura. Now, this is where things get a little interesting because I've been challenged by my own higher self to start teaching beyond the 7 layers of the aura, and I'm going to tell you why. 1 through 7 absolutely correspond to your chakra centers that are in your body. They're very, very personal, right? They have to do with your life as it is in the world. The extra 5 on top of the 7 that I've started teaching so that you have a 12th dimensional light shield around you, aka a 12th dimensional aura around you, makes a world of difference. And Amy, I'm really excited for you to take some of this in if you haven't, because it's really the thing that's missing out of our aura information. And I didn't get handed this piece of information until this past year when I taught the 8th chakra in the psychic training, and I actually went to a chakra out of the body. I'm not going to be addressing those other 5 chakras. I will be addressing those 5 layers of the aura. We're going to go through that in the second module in cosmic energy. But for tonight, I want you to understand that your chakras create your aura layers. So your chakras are the thing that's real for you in your life. Your aura layers are what is coming to you. It's what the world is sort of reflecting to you or bringing to you. It's what's coming in from the outside. So if you've changed your belief system around something, but somebody's still handing you this energy over and over again, and my one example of this that was so glaring to me was when I had a energy of like constantly overdrafting my account years and years ago. When I was first starting psychic work, I was like, what is the deal? And I had somewhat made peace with it. I was like, whatever. I'm just one of those people. I just like overdraw my account like crazy, whatever. And then I was like, well, that sucks. That's a bunch of lack and weirdness. And I got to run around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to get all these things reversed. And this is really stupid. And I've done all this psychic work. Why hasn't it changed? And it wasn't until I started working in through my aura that I realized, oh, some of the things that are coming to me are coming to me because they didn't quite shift out here the way I shifted them in here. So yes, your chakras create your aura, and yet that information can have a discrepancy. They are 2 different things, actually. So your first layer of your aura is the one closest to you, and then on out from there to your 12th. I want you to actually just feel into that space and see how your aura feels for today. And I'm going to be quiet for like a minute and a half. That's all you get of me not squawking. And then I'll be back. But I want you to feel your aura. What's the energy in that space? Feel the layers, all 12 of them. Feel how far you go out. Fluff your aura out, pull it in. Just work with it a little bit. See what you see. All right, just checking in with you guys. Let your bodies know you're going to be coming out of meditation. Come on out. I'm going to unmute everybody and just check in. How did it go? How's your aura? What do you notice? Mine kind of feels imaginary and non-existent today. Like I can feel it psychically, but I can't feel it physically today. Some days I can feel it physically. And some days that feels happy and like protective, and some days it feels like a cage, and I'm like, woo, gotta do some work.
I don't know. Mine felt like there was a lot going on, and I was trying to see if I could feel like where it ended, and I really couldn't.
Mm.
And then I got this weird sense that I was in like multiple places at the same time,
Mm.
like like interdimensionally or something. And then other than that, it just felt like there was like laser beams like shooting across it diagonally. Yeah.
Oh my god! It just reminds me of that Jim Carrey movie, or the Mike Myers movie, Sharks with Frickin' Laser Beams attached to them.
Yeah. Austin Powers, right?
Yes.
Yep.
Oh,
Maybe there's sharks in there too. I don't know.
there's sharks with frickin' laser beams. Got it.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Nice aura.
Yeah.
Hashtag aura goals.
Right.
I need to be friends with more graphic designers so that they can make these weird things. I can put it on my Instagram. How'd it go for you guys, Sarah and Raquel?
I'm just kind of like, I sensed a little bit of like violence.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and that, so that, and like pain.
Mm-hmm.
And that didn't feel very good.
I was gonna say, how'd that feel?
Yeah. It didn't
How
feel very good.
how are your feelings about that?
Um,
Does it feel unsafe?
yeah, it does. Or it
Cool.
did at the time.
Right. So when
Yeah.
you bring your awareness to it, does it feel less unsafe?
No, not necessarily.
Okay. What happens if you ground your aura? Put a big old grounding cord on the aura.
That feels a little safer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not uncommon to have a whole bunch of weird stuff flowing through there, especially if you're kind of brand new at really putting your energy into that space. You're going to find some scarier shit, for sure.
And is that mine?
Here's what we're going to go with. It's all yours. If it's in your space, it's yours. And here's where I differ from other psychic schools, because I think that we are the all that is. And if we start there, we can't other anything.
Right.
And when we start othering something is when we start creating resistance to it.
Right.
And that's the opposite of what we want to do. We want to start being more massive while also individuating our boundaries and individuating ourselves. It's like a lot of expansion and a lot of clarity about what is and what isn't ours to deal with. So if it's in your space, I would take responsibility for it as it's yours, because it's in your space for a reason. So your spirit's like, hey, learn this.
But what if there is like I can sense the all that is and like feel like it's part of my responsibility to like do something about it.
I would agree with you.
You would. Okay.
Yeah. There's a line of taking on too much responsibility, which you'll find as we work through the second chakra, any kind of codependency patterns, or where you might be taking on too much. But I'm the type of person that, I don't know about you, but I'm here to take that on, because how else do we transform it unless we claim it as our own? We can't other something and make a change.
Right.
We just push something deeper into the shadow and say no to it. And ultimately what we're doing with this work is we're healing codependency patterns for sure, and avoidant patterns for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So whatever weird stuff comes up, because shit is going to be weird. We're talking about psychic tools. We're talking about your psychic abilities. We're talking about psychic energy. It's crazy. It's the all that is. When you're in physical form, I end here and you start there. It's easy. If we run into each other, we feel it because our bodies are individuated.
Right.
In energy, it's a little crazier. So in the body, in these lower chakras, I want you to know without a shadow of a doubt what your boundaries are, and I want you to be in them, right? We're going to work on that. And in the upper chakras, I want you to be really clear about what is yours and what isn't, but also comfortable swimming in the all that is, knowing that you are everything.
Okay.
Okay. And that'll just get comfortable the more we go. But if something funky pops up in your space, it's totally fine.
Okay.
Just greet it and be like, oh, hey, murderous rage, hey.
Yeah.
You're going to get really good at that, because that's what we're practicing here, is really getting that big self with a capital S nice and integrated into your body, so that as you greet energies in your space, they are there to help. It's there to help heal. Let's talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to mute everybody and talk at you again. Okay. The premise that we're going under here is that you're the all that is. So there's nothing to fear, which is a really good way to teach psychic skills, because psychic energy is so crazy that if you attempt to teach rights and wrongs, you're in that Judeo-Christian puritanical programming of rights and wrongs. It's tough down here because it's a duality. This is something other than me, except for the fact that on an energy level, it's not. We're both made up of the same teeming amounts of atoms that are all rubbing together. I'm just a different expression of this thing. But on a physical level, this is not me. I'm me. So when we're talking about consciousness, I want you to kind of start to understand that there isn't a separation. On the same vein, you are an individual, and it's time to fully individuate and start feeling comfortable being individuated. And that's been more challenging because, again, of that Judeo-Christian programming right and wrong stuff, which is why I refuse to teach psychic abilities and psychic skills from that perspective. There's right and wrong for you. There's right in terms of what gets you closer to your full creative expression. There's right in terms of whatever your next step is. But that looks entirely different from my right and wrong and her right and wrong. So really starting to get in your lane and work your own energy without needing anything to be right or wrong, and really exploring that concept and destroying that concept for yourself that things are right and wrong. It either works or it doesn't. It's right for where you're at or it's not. And don't be surprised if a year later it might be the answer, but it just wasn't at the time. The other thing I wanted to say about this flew completely out of my head, so let me grab it back. You're the all that is. And there was one other one. Oh, I'm also operating under the premise that you're, it keeps flying out of my head. This is a concept I teach all the time. It's so funny that it's flying out of my head. Your spirit is your consciousness, your awareness is the spirit guide to your physical form. Your human body is the memory of everything that's ever happened on this planet. And don't worry, I will say this 1,000 more times to you because it bypasses the conscious mind. It's like, what? Your conscious mind scrambles a little bit. Not only are you the all that is, but you're individuated. You're also, your consciousness and awareness is the spirit guide to this physical form. Aaron, the human, is the thing that's healing. The consciousness that I'm speaking to you through is an integrated into Aaron, the ego, and the body, but it's a much larger consciousness than that. It's a capital S, self. My higher self is now more comfortable in my body, and I'm able to have more and more of it in this physical form. Your higher self is typically very high vibration. You're never going to get all of it in your body, but you can absolutely completely take up all of your body and your aura and your energy and everything, all your organs and cells and tissue. You can get your consciousness in there. And that's the game that we're playing. I want your unique consciousness in that physical form because that's why you're here. And as we do that, you're going to edge out and move out everything that isn't that. Old programming, behavioral patterns that no longer fit you anymore. You will transform as a person, but you won't transform by going, fuck that, that's not who I am. Oh my God, ew, I'm going to shut down and numb out and look a different way. You're going to do it by being the awareness that you are and shining it in different directions in your life on this human form and loving it. We are using unconditional love, which is a muscle that I will help you build over the next 8 weeks and beyond. So that when you get in there, you're not like, I don't know, Instagram about it, where Instagram's like, and now I'm done. I am evolved. I am beyond that. You don't get to that place effectively without really understanding what the lesson was and loving yourself all the way through it. So that's the premise that we're coming from. You're the all that is, so there's nothing to fear. You're the spirit guide to this physical form. This physical form is the thing that is healing, and we love that physical form. So that part of your brain that's going, oh my God, I'm such an idiot, blah, 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 blah. That's all culture. That's programming. That shit needs to go. And let me tell you, there's a fierce part of you that is like, this shit is over. But that cannot step forward until that like me stuff that just invalidates you all day long goes away. So we'll be moving that out and moving more of your fierceness in so that it can be in present time with you. Your body is in present time. If you ever want to get into the now moment, just get in your body. So as your psychic abilities start to turn on, I want to warn you of this one last thing before I close you out and let you go for the night. We shut our psychic abilities down when we were kids for very good reason. Because in the 80s and 90s and 70s, or whenever you were a kid, which I think I covered all the decades that everyone was born in, but if you were in those zones, that was not a super conscious time. That was a time of a lot of expansion and a lot of awareness. But this kind of stuff was not talked about. Nobody had crystals. Nobody was talking about past life regressions. There weren't psychic witches on Instagram offering classes and doing this work. It was non-existent. So at the time, you were like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed by all this psychic information, and there's no one on this planet, least of all my parents, who can help me with this. I'm just going to shut this off so that I'm not terrified all the time. And you went about clicking all the switches and shutting it all off. Now you're 20, 30, 40 something years old, 50 something years old for some of us, and you're turning them back on again, and you're doing it by your own hand, which is a much more preferable way than the universe being like, wake her up. Sarah and I have plenty of giggles about this, giggles/tears, because us two people were people who had to wake up really, really fast. It's not how everybody does it. I actually don't even recommend it. It is quite the ayahuasca trip, but it happens. So if you are a person who's waking up really slowly, there's benefits to that. If you're a person that's waking up really quickly, there are benefits to that and drawbacks to that too. So just allow yourself to be in whatever zone you're in and work on whatever next theme is coming up for your life. And realize that these psychic abilities were shut off for very good reasons. So as you turn them back on, there might be old residual fear. If you shut off your clairaudience because you could hear what sounded like horrible demonic things happening, then it's going to be a little bit frightening, and you might hit that again when they start to turn on right before you go to sleep in a few weeks. My clairaudience always turns on as I'm exiting my body and entering my body, so that's why I say that. If there was a time that you saw something that you didn't want to see, you might have shut off your clairvoyance. If there was a time that you were communicating with the spirit realm and you just couldn't, like it was too much and you couldn't figure it out, you might have shut off that mediumship level for yourself. So we're going to slowly be turning those things back on, not directly, but indirectly through these tools. So if stuff lights up, let it light up and know that it's just part of the cleansing and the healing that's happening. And if you get really freaked out, you can always email me and message me. I'm up till like all hours of the night because I'm a mystic. That's my job this summer. Okay, you guys. So I'm going to unmute everybody and ask any questions, any comments, anything to add. Fill me in.
I definitely feel like my turning back on has been slow. So I'm glad to hear that there's benefits because sometimes I feel like, God, like, shouldn't I? I've been doing this work for years now. Like, I think I started in 2000. Well, I started in one thing in like 2002, and then I started with Envision in like 2008 or so.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So, it's been a while. And sometimes I feel like I really should be further along than I am. But I'm just not.
Slow and steady, my friend. I would really start having a lot of gratitude for slow and steady, because it knows that if you were to move faster, that you would fragment yourself. And we don't want that.
Fragment. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. When you try to fit a really high consciousness into something that's super dense, like an area of the country that you live in, or if you have particular stuff running through your body, it's too, like, just trust this process. The trust will make it happen more organically, and it'll bring it together really nicely. I know it can be really frustrating though, but I promise you, if you can flip to the other side of that and just be really grateful for how slow you're moving so that you don't shatter your consciousness. Yeah, Sarah's laughing. Sarah, do you have anything to say about that?
I'm just, yeah, gratitude.
Mm-hmm. Sarah has the opposite. Sarah woke up really fast.
It was the ayahuasca trip, yeah. It was just, and I, like, if things were dreams or real life, you can't, you couldn't tell.
Hmm.
So I
It's
would
not
just
fun, is it?
and I'm still fragmented, aren't
Mhm.
I? Like I'm still
You're really doing great work though. Sarah, when did we start working together? May?
yeah.
You've kicked ass ever
Yeah.
since that. I mean, I've just watched you completely gather yourself in such a powerful way. It's
Mm.
tough. But I mean, if you want to rip the band-aid off, for any of you, that is an option. And I'm here for you if you want to go faster. One-on-one work helps it go faster because we can point this in a direction. And you can request that it goes faster too. It's completely under your control. And you guys, get a little edgy. If you've been doing this a while, Amy, get a little edgy. Demand some new shit. Do some stuff that you've never done before with your psychic abilities. Change it up a little bit. Because this is a safe space to get a little bit edgier, get a little bit darker, get a little bit whatever. You know I can hang.
Okay. All right, cool.
Mm-hmm. All right, guys. I feel like that covers everything on my list. Let me look. Chakras, aura rant, the three things that we're really coming from here. Not fighting, non-resistance. I like it. Let's progress for the next couple of weeks and talk a little bit more about energy on the Facebook page. Really start to track your energy, and you're going to get your grounding module pretty soon. But before I let you go for the night, I'm going to close you out. I'm going to get used to this. Go ahead and close your eyes. And would you just breathe into your body? And just feel how your body feels with all this information coming at you. It's a lot of stuff, a lot of new info or old info heard in new ways. And just for fun, would you, pardon me, would you imagine the energy of essential psychic skills in a bubble? And would you look at it? Notice the color, notice the energy. What you're noticing right now is your interaction with the energy of class. So maybe you're seeing something that's really light and really like, oh my God, it's so healing. Maybe you're like, oh my God, there's darkness. It's all good. We are really coming together and working the energy of this community together. So, would you make some room for yourself and your growth period in that essential psychic skills container? Just imagine your energy in that space, able to grow and change and use this container for the most good and for your next highest level of evolution. And then when you're ready, would you explode that bubble and would you just be in present time in your body with your aura around you and your chakras spinning all their funky colors? Would you have a huge amount of gratitude for yourself in getting here tonight? I am so grateful to have a family and a community of people who are willing to do this really intense work because it changes everything. It changes what's possible for you in this lifetime. It changes what's possible for other generations. You cleaning out and clearing out your energy of outdated programs, belief systems, thought patterns, unconscious stuff, it has a massive, massive impact on your family and you in this lifetime and what's possible for you. So give yourself permission to really dive in over the next 8 weeks. November 6th will be our last class. So from now until then, take a big deep breath. Let your body know that you're going to be coming out of meditation and that you will be finishing class pretty soon. And whenever you're ready, come on out. I am here if you guys have any questions. Otherwise, you're free to go for the evening. A couple minutes early. Yay! I'm going to try to keep these classes short because they just taught us psychic training with a weekly 3-hour class. So I'm going to try to be succinct. Okay. Anybody have any questions? Cool. All right. Well, I will see you guys on the Facebook page shortly. And you're going to be getting both the recordings from class. So this is our orientation class, but we had a really cool class on Sunday that I was kind of dragging ass getting out. And I was like, why are you dragging so much ass getting this out? And then I taught this class and I was like, oh, I'm going to give you guys both of the recordings. So I've decided I'm going to send you the recordings from both the Sunday classes and the Tuesday classes on Wednesdays. Sometime sooner I'll be able to do right away tonight, but other nights it might be Wednesday. So just so you know, you're going to get an email from me every other Wednesday with both your classes recorded. Okay? Okay. Good night, everybody. Lots of love. Keep working your energy. Keep working your psychic tools, and I will see you soon. Bye.